I'm talking about plant medicine. So as you can see from this photo, one of us has a horrible rash on our arms. And so what happened was apparently the cat went through poison oak or poison ivy or something like that. This person picked it up, was holding it, set it down, and this rash broke out all over the arms. And so we went out into the garden, and so I have my Vitamix. And so you don't have to have a Vitamix. It's helpful, but you don't have to. And gathered up Plaintain and Comfrey. And so a lot of times with herbal medicine, people get hung up on how much of this or how much of that. We don't really need to worry about it that much. We could have done an entire thing of Plaintain. We could have done an entire thing of Comfrey. I just like the combination of both. So Plaintain, which looks like this plant here. I should have showed you while we were cutting it, but I didn't think about it until after the fact. But as you can see, it has these, the variety that we have has these long skinny leaves. In some parts of the world, they have the broad leaf or rounder leaf. But you can see it has these long vertical lines. And so here is mine here. So you can see those long lines on the Plaintain, long vertical lines. And so this is very common. It's all over the world. And it's in your backyard. It's wonderful for skin health. And so if I were outside and had just a regular bug bite, even a bee sting or splinter even, I would crumble it all up. Some people chew it, and you want to release the juices. It's got some juice in there, and you want to crumble it all up, get it all nice and juicy, and then you stick it on there. So if it's a splinter or something with the stinger is left inside, it will actually pull out whatever that stinger is. And so it pulls out any of the toxins or the poisons. Whatever's making the itch is what Plaintain is for. And then Comfrey, you can see this picture here. So Comfrey is not as common here. We actually planted this Comfrey. So here's ours. So we cut it up into pieces. We didn't cut it, we tore it. You can see it's torn. And so it's really kind of rough. Can you hear when I rub it? Mike's over here. So it's a really kind of rough plant, and there's a lot of controversy around Comfrey. People say it causes liver damage. If you extract a chemical component from the Comfrey and take it in extremely high doses, then yes, it's going to cause some liver issues. But so is black pepper. So is cabbage juice. And so throw that out. Blah, we're not trusting that. I mean, you might do your own research. But for me, no. There's no way that I would use enough fresh Comfrey to meet what they were extracting to use. Anyway, so all I did is filled up the Vitamix just to make sure I had enough, and I dumped it on this plate to show you. And the stems too, so don't worry about just the leaves. The stems are fine too. Now, both of these are very demulcent. They have a lot of juice in there. It doesn't feel like it when I'm grabbing it. You can hear. But when I blend it all up, that's going to be released. When the cell walls are broken down, that juice is going to be released. And it's going to create like a green pudding. And so I'm going to add some water because I need the blades to have something to spin, but not a lot. So as you can see, I have a 1/4 cup of water here. I'm not even going to put all of it in there. I might add more as needed, but you can see I left some in here. So I'm sticking it on here, putting all of my leaves back in. So Comfrey is also wonderful for bones, tissue, skin. It's just wonderful for repairing damaged skin, bone, and tissues. And so anytime we have any of those that are injured, we want to go to Comfrey. And so I like the Plaintain to pull out the toxins, the Comfrey to work on the healing the tissues. So I'm going to turn this on. It will be loud, and I'm going to run it until it turns into a pudding. It's just going to take a little while. So let's see how long it takes. Okay, so it's not quite there, you can see. Now I could just put it on the skin like this. That would be perfectly fine. But I like it when I can get it to the pudding. It's more almost like a salve almost even. And I can stick this in the refrigerator, be nice and cold, and apply that to the rash, and that would be, you know, soothing as well. So like I said, I could go ahead and use it like this, but instead I'm going to keep going. I had thought about adding some water earlier, and then thought, oh, I need to give it a little bit more time. I'm not going to add water at this time either. What I'm doing with this spoon is just kind of pulling it away from the blades to see if some of the larger pieces, like if you see the stem is still pretty big, and so I just want to get those pieces where they will get broken up. Sometimes they get under the blade and then the blade's spinning, but it's just not breaking up when I want to break up. So let's keep going. Okay, I don't think it's breaking down enough, and so I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm going to add it all, so I'm going to put a whole quarter cup in there, and let's see what happens. Because we're using different combinations of Plaintain and Comfrey, always start with not the full quarter cup and see how it goes first. Because if you add too much water, it's just going to be too liquidy, and then it'll be like pouring water on something, and that's just not quite as helpful. It'll work, but it's just not quite as helpful. Okay, I'm just going to fill up my jar. It actually smells really good. So just think, so this was 2 Vitamixes full of greens, Plaintain and Comfrey. And it's all going to fit in this 1 cup jar. Just like when you cook spinach or other greens, they cook down to next to nothing. It's the same thing. And so the first time I thought that 1 Vitamix would be enough. And it was not. So that is crazy. Anyway, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, get it nice and cold, so that when we apply it on the rash, so the rash is inflammation, which is heat, which is good under certain conditions. We want the heat. We want the body to fight whatever's going on in there, which is when inflammation is good. But it's painful, and if there's something we can do to help it, we'll help it. Not with painkillers. If I were to give this person painkillers, then they wouldn't feel the pain, but we're not actually helping to relieve what's going on in there. By applying something like this, we're pulling the toxins out, which a pain reliever is not doing, and helping with the inflammation to help soothe the pain. We're applying cold, which also soothes the pain. So as you can see, here is our Plaintain gel. I can scoop some out. I can put it on my hand or wherever a rash or bite is, or even a splinter or something like that, and it will help with that. So we decided to put this Comfrey Plaintain salve on his arms and wrapped them in an old t-shirt and left it on for about an hour, and then washed it off, and did that a couple of days in a row. And then you can see what it looks like. I think this is 5 days later. And so it did take 5 days to get it to look like this. And it actually looked better the next day. The itching was not there anymore either. Anyway, if you make Plaintain or Comfrey gel, please let me know. If there's something else you would like to see or learn about, let me know that as well. Please share my videos, like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscribe link below so you'll know when the next video comes out, and comment. I love to hear from you. Anyway, to your itchies, I hope that this helps to relieve any itchies and pains that you may have. Anyway, enjoy!